What's going on, guys? Zach's Fish and Shrimp Room here. Really just need to change it to Shrimp Room. Excuse me. Let's go see what's all going in the Shrimp Room. I haven't been in there for a few days. Been busy moving snow. Let's see what we got going on. All right, let's start off at the mixed tank. There's a lot of buried shrimp in here, and should be starting to see little shrimplets here in the next week, I'd say. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think she's buried 2, 5, 6. And there's a big girl in here that's buried too. Right there, she'd make 7. So 7 buried females in this one tank. This is my 40-gallon mixed tank. 7, there should be 8, if I remember correctly. But yeah, 8 buried females in there. They all got buried up within about the same week. So end of this week, next week, there should be a bunch of shrimplets in here. And I did put a whole lot of Bacter AE in this tank last week to help feed and nourish those shrimplets when they do get hatched. Galaxy fish bones, I do have 1 buried female right here. I think she might be the only one buried. It's hard to tell. I think this tank was too overpopulated when I got all these shrimp, because I don't have hardly as many as I did before. I mean, I probably had 150 shrimp in here, and now I've got, I'd say, about 50 total. So that was my bad. With that many shrimp in here, if anything had died, it would have been eaten practically immediately. Down here, I got my crystal reds and pure red line. I got a bunch of hair algae in here, keeping it that way because after 10 months they have finally bred, and I want to see what the babies look like, and it's just more surface area for the babies to feed on. So I believe I've got 3 buried females in here. We'll see how they turn out, because all the males should be red, pure red line. Over here are the super crystal blacks. I do have 1 buried female there. With this line, I'm going for the all black, just 1 white line on the back and a red face, or a white face. So there's a bunch of them that are like that. That one there, not a lot of blackness to it, more see-through. But once these little guys grow up a little bit, they'll be cold. Golden bee and snow whites. Do have 1 buried female in here. This tank population has exploded. Red pintos. Some of them are starting to become a fishbone. Like this guy here has a super thick back line. That has a nice fishbone to it, except it doesn't have any of the head features. Should be 1 buried female in here that I saw a little bit ago. There she is. She's hiding. She's up in there. Here I've got 2 tanks of red fancy tigers. It's kind of mixed grades. Like this one here, there's hardly any red on it. There's a line there. She's got a little bit of red. Over in this tank, let's see. That one's starting to get some good lines. Partial lines. But there's so many of them in here. That one looks decent. That one's almost got 2 lines. So I'm just gonna let them breed out for a little while. I gotta pull out the red tie bees. They're definitely not helping anything. Decent, okay, red fancy tiger. What I really need to do is set up this other 40 breeder and have it just a tiger coal tank, because I don't want to mix them with those guys there. Tangerine tigers. I've got a buried female, but there's so many youngins in here. They're not quite up to breeding. Some of them you can see saddles, some of them you can't. But like I said, they're still kind of small, which is fine, they'll get there. Orange eye royal blue tigers. These guys have just been breeding like crazy. There's little guys everywhere. It's hard to tell which ones are buried or not, just because they're so dark. Blue bolts. Like, that's a nice male there. Some more nice coloring. I don't want to pull out anything and risk killing off the nice blue ones and putting them in their own tank. Like that guy there. He's got some nice blue to him. And up here, this is supposed to be the Missouri tank, blue Misuras, but they're mixed up a little bit. I don't think there's any buried shrimp in here, but there's some nice blue bolts. So I've kind of got blue bolts in both of these tanks here, just in case one tank crashes and the other one doesn't. I still have blue bolts hiding somewhere. My red wine tank, glass is getting kind of dirty. There's, like, that's a nice red King Kong back there. I've got some buried females. Yeah, not a lot going on in this tank. Like the single line back and the full reds, I need to pull and put it in the other tank. Super tigers, I've got a few buried in here. I think I just got a handful. I would like to get a whole tank of just these guys, a whole 40 breeder. I like their patterns. I know they're not nothing too special, but I like them, so that's all that matters. Here's some of my Neos. This is a 29 tall cherry shrimp tank. Population seems to be doing fine. There's quite a bit of buried females in here. Lots of shrimplets. Let's see if I can find a little guy. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Where is he at? He's up here somewhere. There he is. There's a couple of them right there. A guy. Kind of hard to tell. Glass is dirty. I keep it dirty for all the baby shrimplets. My blue Neos. These guys have neglected their tank, and yet they keep breeding, so I'm not complaining. Just kind of a basic little setup for them. They like it. Shadow pandas. I should start seeing babies in here fairly quick this week, most likely. We got this girl's buried up. This girl right here is buried up as well. Really nice coloring. Some of them are just black pandas. But this is probably one of my favorite shrimp, to be honest. Down here, my red King Kongs. I've been pulling these from the red wine tank. I'm starting to get a mix of male and female, which is what I need to get their own tank going. And over here, kind of diversify the shadow pandas. When I pulled these out, I thought they were just black pandas, but their coloring kind of came to them the older that they got. So like this is a nice shadow panda. She's buried. It's a decent looking male. Like that's a black panda, the girl up front. And you got another Black panda male. Yeah, that shadow panda buried girl, she's thick. She's got a lot of eggs in her, but those eggs should be hatching this week for sure. Well, that's just another video of the shrimp room and how everything's going. A little feeding session as well. Also wanted to say thank you for the 200 subs. Never thought I'd get there, but we got there. You guys seem to like the videos. I keep putting them out. I'm gonna keep trying to do one video a week. As for any changes in the shrimp room, probably not for a little while. Like these 20 talls down here, I want to get rid of those and get 10s. And as for all the 40 breeders that have been sitting empty for about 7 months now, eventually when stuff keeps on breeding and breeding and breeding, like what I should have done with that Galaxy fishbone tank, I should have just cleaned out a 40 and let them go. But what'll probably end up happening is this cold tank is going to fill up, and then let's say like all the coal tiger shrimp I'm going to put in their own 40 breeder tank and let them just go to town. I don't want to make the same mistake of overstocking another 10-gallon tank, because there was some really nice shrimp in there and they just slowly disappeared on me. And you know, it happens so slow over time, you don't realize it. But if you guys liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next week. Thanks.